halfway through a project only to realize a key stakeholder wasn't looped in, and now they're not on board? In higher ed, stakeholder engagement can make or break a project. Today, we're diving into how to identify, communicate with, and support your stakeholders at every stage. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Katie Linder, a certified project manager, change manager, and coach who works full-time leading and supporting teams in higher education. On this channel, I offer real-world examples of how project management translates into the higher ed environment. If you're looking for ways to use project management tools and skills, both professionally and personally, to bring more ease to your work and life, you're in the right place. Stakeholder management is a foundational project management practice that can feel a little abstract, but in higher ed, it's essential. Let's start with some definitions. In project management, stakeholders are anyone impacted by or involved in your project, from decision makers and implementers to end users and vocal critics. Stakeholder management is the practice of identifying who those people are, understanding their needs and concerns, communicating with them clearly and consistently, and keeping them engaged at the right level throughout the project. In higher education, stakeholder management can be complex because you're often working with shared governance structures, cross-functional teams, multiple approval layers, and diverse populations of faculty, staff, students, alumni, administrators, and other community members. Each group has different priorities, communication preferences, and levels of influence. That makes stakeholder management both essential and a little tricky. Let's walk through a simple 4-step model for effectively engaging with your project stakeholders. Step 1 is to identify your stakeholders. You can start with a brainstorm. Who needs to approve the project? Who will help implement the project? Who will use or be impacted by the outcomes of the project? And who might resist the project? Your second step is to analyze your stakeholders' interests and influence. For this step, you can use a simple tool like a stakeholder matrix to map stakeholders across 4 quadrants. The first is high influence and high interest. These are the people you want to keep closely involved. The second quadrant is high influence and low interest. These are the people you want to focus on keeping satisfied. The third quadrant is low influence and high interest. These are the stakeholders to keep informed. And the last quadrant is low influence and low interest. These are people that you can monitor only as needed. Once you've mapped your stakeholders, your third step is to decide how and when to communicate with each group. For example, you might have weekly email updates for active collaborators, monthly in-person check-ins for executive sponsors, and occasional surveys or town halls for end users. For each group, you'll want to tailor the message to their perspective. What do they care about the most? Your fourth step is to stay responsive throughout the project. Stakeholder needs will evolve, so be ready to adjust your engagement style, clarify any misunderstandings, and handle feedback, even when it's critical. Here are some additional tips for managing stakeholder engagement. First, be transparent. Silence breeds speculation and rumor, so keeping everyone informed about what's going on can save a lot of time in the long run. Second, document feedback and responses. This builds trust and accountability as you continue through the different phases of your project. Third, use champions when you can. This means identifying trusted faculty or staff who can help influence their peers. And lastly, balance your priorities. Not every stakeholder's request can be met, but showing that you've listened goes a long way. Stakeholder management isn't just about checking a box. It's about building relationships that support your project's success. When you identify your stakeholders early, engage them appropriately, and stay open to feedback, your project is much more likely to meet its goals and earn lasting buy-in from your community. I'd love to hear how you've handled stakeholder engagement in your own work. Who's been key to your projects, and what's helped those relationships thrive? Drop a note about your stakeholder management experiences in the comments below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more practical strategies like these to help you navigate the complex world of higher education project management. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.